Why, hello everybody, and welcome back to Misscliks D&D. So, your ship has unfolded. You have your 20-foot long, single-masted ship with a set of rowing benches. And let's take a look at the actual map, because once he says Talashar, I think Jen and Maribel, Albert and Maribel will recognize that. So if we take a look at this existing map and zoom out quite a bit, you will notice the shallow sea to the east.
Are you, V, are you trying to talk? Are you muted?
No, I'm...
No.
So, if we take a look at the map, you can see the shallow sea where you guys started over by Mount Vesuvius. And Pike's Point, which is the end of the shallow sea. And here you are beyond the Sleeping Dragon Isle, beyond the Cape of Rohana, over to Leech Island on the far side.
Wow.
So, you're actually not too terribly far from where you started.
So, like...
Oh, yay!
So, would going to Barthus be faster than going to our old island? Like, what? Yeah, right? Wait, where was he?
Well, your old island is back over where Barthus is, which is... If you keep going east through the mainland and to the north, you would get to where Barthus is. He's way, way on the other side. You need to actually take a ship and go around the coastline.
Except if we take the portal shirt.
Right. If you...
If the portal's still there.
If the portal's still there, and if you can find them, then that would be faster.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll see that when we get to it. So, like, while we're navigating, I'd like Albert to kind of step up and, like, act like he knows where he's going, and he actually does, and he's got navigation. So I'm, like, taking that role once again of, like, the card reader, map pointer guy.
Yeah.
How are you guys looking in terms of wounds right now?
I do not feel great. I am at 16 out of 47.
V. Albert? V, you're muted.
I'm good. I'm good. I just need to rest to catch up on some spells and readings.
Oh, you're good. Fascinating.
I mean, as I said, I'm not the melee type of person. I kind of go by the magical way.
Okay, well, I can see you're not in the best of shape, so while you are sailing, let me meditate and gain some spells so I can heal you.
So, what spells do you cast there?
I'll gain some healing spells after, what was it, 6 hours? And then, so 6 hours later. Let's see. Oh, but before I do, I already had one. I'll cast a Cure Moderate on Maribel. That's 1d10 plus 1, it looked like?
Yes, sir.
I also will need to rest a little bit as well.
How much are you down, V?
I'm 16 out of 38.
Okay. Boy, you guys are beat up.
We almost died when you tried to kill us.
I am a 9 out of 9, everybody.
And
Okay.
Maribel and me took the brunt of most of the damage as I looked
Yeah.
at the video.
I'll lay my hand on Maribel and cast the Cure Moderate on her. She regains 5.
Thank you.
And let's see, Cure Light is 1d8. And I go up to Trellis and I Cure Light on her for 4. I had not prepared too much healing as I was guarding the temple, but I will refresh my spell list with mini healing
Do I have 4 health back from your spell?
Yeah.
Okay. So, are you guys sailing while you're memorizing new spells, or are you just going to sit around and wait?
Sailing while I memorize. And Albert can memorize too.
As soon as the ship is ready, I start walking on. I run my hand along the railing. And I'm just kind of getting a feel for it. You see me really starting to take ownership of this ship as our own. And you said that it has rowing benches.
It has rowing benches with oars already stuck out the little holes, as if it's just waiting for someone to sit down and start rowing.
How many seats?
There are 5 sets of oars, and
So
1.
10 seats.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have sails, it can't do rowing or sails? Or
No, it has a mast with a square sail.
We know how to sail from when we sailed our other boat, right?
Right.
So can I tell by looking at this that this ship can sail by wind or by rowing?
Absolutely. Let's see, it has a single rowing seats, 5 sets of oars. So yeah. So on either side of the deck are benches. There's 5 on the left side and 5 on the right side, or I should say 5 on port and 5 on starboard. With room for 1 person to sit at each bench and a bunch of oars sticking out into the water. The mast is up, the sail is out, the anchor is down, there's a rowing oar in the back. It's all ready to go. All you have to do is trim the masts and trim the sails and push out.
I walk on and I walk up to the, it's not called a steering wheel. The helm.
The helm.
And I say, Captain, as first mate, I am ready to set sail at your command. And I take hold of the helm.
Excellent. How many of you are knowledgeable in the ways of sailing?
I
All
know
of
how
us.
to navigate and guide people using a map, stars.
It depends on what you want to do. If you just want to row, not a problem. Anybody can row. Not an issue. You're going to need someone's help to learn how to properly trim sails and whatnot. Then the steering is pretty easy. Instead of having a...
And you
I
just
suppose if you had mages powerful enough to cast magic on it, perhaps it could fly.
Neil, to work anything on the ship, should we have had, is that something we had to have learned? Does it have to be on our skills?
It depends on what you want to do. If you just want to row, not a problem. Anybody can row. Not an issue. You're going to need someone's help to learn how to properly trim sails and whatnot. Then the steering is pretty easy. Instead of having a nice big steering wheel, there's a rowing oar that sticks down the back, and you kind of push that one direction or the other to steer it. And there is only a single cabin, although there is, I guess, air space below the deck in the hull of the ship. But you're all ready to go. You just gotta memorize your spells and take off. I should also note, Trump, since this is your first time playing Spellcaster in 2nd edition, that you cannot just simply replace a spell, you must cast a spell to burn it from your mind. And so you probably have a few spell slots that have been burned when fighting the creature, when you were fighting the party.
I remember this spell's cast, yeah.
Yeah. But you can cast the others and just blow them off if you want, not a problem. It's just, for example, if you have a fireball spell memorized and you want to replace it with something else, that just means you have to cast a fireball spell, which can be sometimes problematic. Or if you're hiding out somewhere in secret and you want to get rid of your spells, it can sometimes be problematic. Most things can be cast and discarded pretty easily by casting them into nothingness.
Got it. Okay, before I get on the ship then, I make sure to dispense of my spells. Those of you watching will notice some kind of light show.
All right. Spells are cast, new spells are being memorized, and where are you guys going? What's the
Set
plan?
sail to Talashar.
To Talashar.
To Talashar. All right, let's get a slightly
Going east,
better map for
I
this.
say.
I look very epic and somewhat happy as I steer the ship into the open water.
Okay.
I'll leave the steering to you. I will be in the cabin preparing my spells.
Malcolm doesn't say much. He sticks to as far away from your new captain as possible. He seems not to be too excited by him.
Oh, and you, Torchbearer, would I presume that you would like to get off on the first town? Very well.
So, while they're doing that, I go around. I guess since there are other people who are working the ship, like I just go and observe how they're doing each part of the ship, so I learn the different areas in case I need to know it.
Ah, and do any of you happen to have a mace?
Hey. Nope.
Unfortunately, no, Captain.
Or even a club? I can settle for a club.
I don't believe any of us wield a club.
Well, we will find one in town
What do you need that for?
to hit people with.
Could you not, find a piece of wood of some kind and wield it as a club?
Yes, I could, but that is unseemly.
Many hours later, as the
Can I tell you what I'm doing?
yes,
So as soon as everybody's distracted doing their things, I'd like to start. Oh wait, we didn't sleep yet, so I can't use my spells yet. So
right,
I will go to bed.
fantastic. You guys sail into the night, and wake up the next morning, still sailing eastward. On the horizon, you can see the forest, which you probably don't know which forest it is, although New Bruno would know. And as the morning turns into late morning and early afternoon, you see Talashar on the coast coming up fast.
Land ho!
There are plenty of little fishing boats dotting the waters all around you, and you see the colors of the kingdom that Talashar resides in. For those of you who don't remember, this northern area is called Akuba, and the Akubans and your people, I guess not your people, since you're all from somewhere else, but your kingdom and the Akuban kingdom, Jen and Maribel, do not get along well. There's a great enmity between them. But you're a half Minotaur and she's an elf, so maybe you guys can get away with blending in here. Trillis, you're from Eridon. You and Akuba don't really have a strong relationship. So to you, this is just, foreign land, whatever. But for Maribel and for Jen, Akuba has done many a terrible thing to Drekis in the past.
Akuba.
Akuba. Right. You begin to sail into port. What do you guys do about having a skeleton walking around on your ship when you sail into port?
Maybe he should stay in the cabin.
We could probably find him some cloak and cover him up.
I believe that in the future, indeed, he should have a cloak. Perhaps we should get him one in town.
Maybe we should
could
go
do
get
that.
him one in town and he could wait in the cabin while we go through this.
Yes, let's do that. That way he does not scare anyone.
I think that's the wise way to go about it.
Sounds good to me. We've completed our spells at this point.
Yeah.
First, I have but a few spells to cast on you, my newfound crew first. I assume that you will submit to my spells, yes?
What kind of spells, Captain?
Oh, simply ways to understand you more.
Well, if they provide healing like you did before, that sounds great to me.
These do not. But I will also heal you.
When you say understand us more, what do you mean?
Just to understand a little bit about where you are coming from.
I am coming
similar
from-
to how I shared some thoughts with Trellis. I too can understand you a little bit more.
So you are wanting to cast a spell that will let you read our thoughts.
No, not your thoughts, but more your general background. Very general.
I can tell you my background. I came
Consider
from
it a
Spice Island.
background check.
You don't trust us?
And what do you hope to learn from this?
Nothing. It is simply
We could
useful.
not tell you ourselves.
It is simply useful to rapidly gain this information.
If it is so simple, then you should explain it better to us instead of using such vague language.
It is simple. I intend to cast a spell called No Alignment on you.
You wish to know if we are good or evil.
I do, or neutral. It does not matter to me. In the eyes of Tempos, as long as no unnatural things are occurring in the grand scheme of the world, then you are fine. But it is useful in order to know what your motivations may be and your desires.
As you say, I will submit to such a spell.
That is fine. It'll only be done once, though, correct? You won't be doing this again later?
Of course not. It would be pointless.
I do not see the point in this act of magic. I feel like it should be a mutual thing. If you did it on me, I should do it on you.
Feel free to. It is well known what all clerics serving Tempos are.
Which is?
Neutral.
Well, I do not have that spell. But I don't see the point. I think you should learn to trust me and get to know me if you want to understand me.
Oh, of course, that will happen, but initially this will also happen.
I will go collect the cape and make sure that our friend gets home safe.
Great. Before you do, just this one thing. I advance towards Albert.
I don't need anything from you. I'm all good. I told you. I start walking away.
I must insist. Do not worry. I will not share this information with anybody.
I don't see the point of this. I don't...
I've already prepared the spells. If I do not cast it now, it would be a waste of resources.
You can cast it on anybody.
Cast a spell on Albert.
Well, Albert is walking away.
Great. I cast a spell. It is no alignment.
Can
Okay.
you do it without touching me?
It is 10 yards range, so yes.
Can you do it without me accepting it?
You
You
get a
can roll
saving
to
throw.
save.
I will roll to save.
Saving throw versus spell. Failure. Utter failure. So, you detect Dark Albert's alignment. And Dark Albert's alignment is dark indeed.
It is neutral evil.
Yes. Yes.
I think just the evil, good, neutral part is found. All right, I do the same
Which
to
one do you see? So if I'm neutral evil, you see me as neutral or as evil?
as evil. I don't know your the other one, the chaotic, neutral, lawful one.
So I guess as I walk away, you understand why I'm walking away.
I could have discerned that. All right, I do the same on Maribel, V, and the other human holding the staff.
Saffron.
Yes, Saffron. Do you are you willing to?
Yeah, Saffron
Receive
submits
the
to
spell.
your alignment test as well. So I believe for Maribel, you get neutral good. I think that would be Maribel's alignment. For Trellis, I think you probably get neutral good as well. The Torchbearer is...
I don't do it on the
No,
Torchbearer.
not to, okay. Saffron,
Do I need to roll as well?
not if you're letting him cast it on you. If you're trying to resist, then you need to roll. Saffron's alignment comes back to you as lawful good.
Goody two shoes. All right, and then I cast 3 Cure Lights on Maribel and 2 Cure Lights on Trellis.
All right, roll them.
As he does that, I'm walking away with the torchbearer, by the way.
Okay, first roll is for Maribel. Second one is for Trellis.
Nice.
Do you have 5?
Yeah, 5 first level.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. That feels quite nice.
So that's 11 HP back.
Mm-hmm. Now, gather the supplies, get me a robe. I prefer, if there is a choice of color, I would prefer purple. And
Yes,
get me a mace as well.
Okay.
We'll do what we can.
You guys pull into Talashar. Its white sand beaches cover the entire coastal region as far as you can see on either end. There are very few rocks or boulders out there, making this look like a wonderful beach if you were going to be vacationing. The town itself has a mud brick wall around it, and all the buildings within it are made of mud brick. Most of them are 2 stories tall. There are a few 1-story buildings scattered about and a few 3-story ones. The docks are made out of some sort of white stone and stick out pretty far into the ocean. Plenty of fishing boats dot the area, and as your ship pulls up, a battle-scarred Akuban walks up to you and starts jabbering at you in Akuban, which I don't think any of you guys speak.
I just sneer at him and try to walk by.
I could comprehend languages, but I don't think it's worth it.
He gets the picture pretty quickly that you guys don't speak his tongue. And
I
says,
answer in Elvish.
What do you say in Elvish?
Sorry, I only speak Elvish.
He turns to look at you, and then in common, a little bit slowly says, "What are you on, guys? Is this beast for sale?" He says, pointing to Maribel.
I give it the tiniest nod.
I can understand this. He's saying it in common.
Yeah, in a slow common with a thick accent.
I hit him. I backhand him.
Give me a roll to hit.
And I walk up to Maribel and make sure everything's okay.
I start walking away with the torchbearer. I'm like, hey man, let's just get going. You don't want to get into this mess, right?
I probably have advantage for surprise, I think, too.
Yeah, he's not expecting you to strike him, and you hit him, even with the 13. He takes a couple of steps back, rubs his face, spits into the water by the end of your ship, and goes, "Fine," and storms off.
I spit after him as he goes.
I grab Dark Albert before he takes off, and I kind of pull him to me, and I just kind of ream him because I look at him and I'm just like, why would you even say that? After all that we've done for you, you just chicken out on everything. How are you to act like this now?
I'm not trying to chicken out. I'm trying to get the torchbearer to safety before we get into trouble. He's gonna be living.
Obviously, Maribel isn't for sale, so why would you say that?
I never said she was for sale. I didn't even reply.
That's not what I just saw.
What did you see me do, really?
Just watch it, Dark Albert. We did so much for you, and you need to start being part of the team. And that's all I say, and I walk.
If I wasn't part of the team, I'd be leaving like your crewmate here, torchbearer.
Malcolm's gone. You look back to him as you say that, and he's gone. He's just like...
Just like that. You know what I would do to a torchbearer like that gets away? I'd slit its throat. No questions asked.
Well, feel free to go after him.
Maybe I should. I start walking away after the torchbearer.
All right.
And I
Can try to
rejoin
find it?
Maribel.
I'm straight up trying to find the torchbearer, Neo.
Okay. You slip into the busy dock district. There are many people coming and going. The sun is beating down nice and hot, and everyone's wearing these long... They're like nightgowns, but they're like daytime nightgowns. They're like, I guess, some sort of robes, but not robes that close in the front. They're like, you know, you just slip your head and arms through it, and then you walk around.
That sounds nice.
Like a big dress with sleeves.
Like a Snuggie, but closed in the back.
Yeah, and that seems to be the common form of dress here. Most people walk around in either white or blue robes.
The captain wishes for purple cloak and a mace. Let us
Let's
find
go
that in
find it.
supplies.
Sure. So,
Alright, gotta go with Maribel to look.
I clarified it as a hooded robe/cloak too. Of course.
I am looking for the torchbearer.
fantastic. You can find a mace for 5 gold. They sell them in a small weapon shop area down by the docks. They actually sell all sorts of weapons here.
What other weapons do they have?
Just, anything that you might need. Arrows, daggers, basic swords, basic axes, spears, javelins, that sort of thing.
I just pick him out a nice mace.
Okay. Albert, as you are walking through the dock district looking for your friend here, looking for Malcolm, you come across a raised platform where there are 3 men with collars around their necks up on the platform being auctioned off to a group of onlookers.
Is any of them the guy we lost with the collar around his neck?
No.
What do they seem like? Do they seem like slaves? Do they seem
They seem like slaves. Seems like a slave auction down by the docks. How does Albert feel about running into a slave auction?
He does not like this one bit.
Albert doesn't approve of slavery?
No.
Mm.
Well, if it's his slaves, I think he's fine with it.
But you were kept as a slave for a long time.
I think he's okay with being a slave master, but he's not okay with the concept of other people owning slaves.
Okay. All
I
right.
mean, it's like if someone's against like money and evil, I would assume that if he had a ton of money, he would be less against his own money. I don't know. I feel like I don't know if that makes sense.
All right. You guys can also find a purple hooded... Well, you can find a hooded cloak for your new captain, but you don't
But
find...
not purple.
But not a purple one. You find someone who says they can dye a cloak purple for you if you're willing to wait around for a couple of days.
Is there any quicker way to dye it ourselves?
No. Having a professional do it's the fastest way.
Okay. I go ahead and how much more does it cost to have them dye it?
It'll cost an extra 2 gold to dye it purple. Purple dyes
Okay.
are expensive.
And original cost of the robe is how much?
Not a lot. A couple of silver.
Okay. We go ahead and wait for the purple cloak.
Cool.
Meanwhile, I'm gonna ask how much are the slaves?
It appears you can get the 3 slaves are being auctioned off. The price for the first one starts around 40 gold, and he ends up being sold for 80 at the end. You don't know if the other ones will go for more or less, but it seems like 80 gold was the price that people stopped bidding at.
And I couldn't bid?
You could have, but I think the first time you were just watching as this was going
okay.
on until the final slave was, till he was finally sold.
Okay.
How much is if I wanted to get more arrows?
They are. That's a good question. You can buy. You're using a longbow, right?
Yes.
3 silver for 6 arrows. So
Okay.
one
I'm
silver
gonna
for
pay 6 silver and get 12 more arrows
nice, done.
because I'm pretty sure I've used a decent amount. Should probably be 24 arrows now. Okay. So I take out 6 silver for that.
Fantastic. And supplies. How? For supplies, you just need some sort of food that won't go bad. Some barrels of water. Yeah, food and water, pretty much all you need.
Okay.
How? You guys get?
Dark Albert has all of our money, so I look for Dark Albert.
He's gone.
Dark Albert, what's your height?
I'm 6 foot tall.
And Maribel, you're 7'1".
Yeah, or let me double check.
But you're over 7 feet tall.
I'm at least 7 feet.
Right. So you can easily see over the crowds. Dark Albert is very tall for an elf. Most of the average height for a human male is like 5'10". So Dark Albert stands up, kind of like sticks out over the crowd, especially considering the elven nature going on here.
So I can find him?
Yeah, give me a perception check at +2 to see if you can find Albert in the crowd. Be real easy for you.
Should have stealthed.
Real easy for you, Maribel, except for the fact that you see another Minotaur walking through the area, a full-blooded Minotaur, and that catches your eye and completely distracts you from any Albertness going on.
Awesome.
Yes.
Am I surprised to see that because of the conflict you mentioned, or is it more like my city, not my race?
It's more of your city, not your race. Minotaurs, well, God knows, you're the only half Minotaur in the world, probably. You're not sure how actual Minotaurs, full Minotaurs, feel about this area. And I don't think you've seen a full Minotaur in a very, very long time. This one,
I'm like super starstruck and I like kind of want to talk to them, but I get really shy and I'm like standing there like, I just kind of watch them.
okay. It seems to be a male Minotaur, and he is testing out 2 different battle axes and trying to decide which one he likes better.
Ooh, okay. Well, that gives me my opening, so I kind of like go up behind him and I'm like, the left one has better heft.
He grunts and then turns around at you to look at you and does a double take. And then goes, "You are certainly something strange."
I suppose.
What is your name?
I am Maribel. And yours?
I am Harry Hoofdini, the milk bringer.
Really? Harry, I am pleased to meet you. You seem to have very good taste in weapons.
I do.
For what reason are you buying a new weapon? Are you a warrior?
My last one got stuck in the skull of my enemy.
I like, my heart flutters a little bit when he says that. I'm like, oh. Who are your enemies?
All who oppose me. But, more precisely, bands of bandits living to the east.
Ah, you are a lawkeeper then.
I am a bounty hunter.
Ah, a bounty hunter. I am a first mate aboard a ship.
I have lived through many moons, and I have milked many cows. But I have never seen a heifer such as you.
I nod, because I take that as a compliment. And I say, perhaps we should get to know each other. Would you like to meet my crew?
Yes. Give me the name of your ship, and I will bring milk and we will drink and discuss.
Do I know the name of my ship?
No.
Does it have a name?
No.
It used to be called the. Was it the SNAS? The SAS?
Oh no, it's the Rift Dancer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My ship is the Rift Dancer. We will be back on board later tonight.
I look
We'll
forward
be
to
here
it.
for a few days.
I will give you the first cream, he says, and
I
then
nod gratefully.
pays the guy some gold and walks away with his battle axe.
I'm kind of like stupefied by that whole interaction, and I'm kind of like, herp, derp, don't even know where the rest of my friends are. When I look around, do I see any of them?
No, you're like all just people around you and none of your allies.
Where am I then? Because weren't we next to each other?
Well, she left to look for me because I
yeah.
had the money. Well, most of the money.
I think you're
I
off
didn't like
buying
leave.
cloaks.
I just looked across the plaza for you.
Yeah. Trellis, you're off with the fabric maker buying a cloak and talking about getting it dyed, and
Okay.
that's all finished up, and you're done there. You guys still need to buy supplies for 4 people for how long?
I don't know. Also, I said I was buying a mace, but I don't know how much it cost.
8 gold.
You said it was 5.
8 gold. Do I even have
Nope,
that?
5 gold. Nope,
5.
8 gold. I lied. 8 gold.
Okay. 8.
Many lies.
All right, I go outside and look around for Maribel then, and I find her since she's tall.
Easy to find Maribel.
So I come up to her, and I kind of come up, and I see that she's in a daze, and I kind of like tilt my head and look at her like, what's going on with you today?
I am not sure. I met a Minotaur. His name was Harry Hoofdini, the milk bringer.
I smirk at the name, and all right then.
It is a noble name.
Will he be accompanying us back to our ship?
I hope so. He said he would visit the ship with the first cream tonight.
All right.
And then
Hopefully he is not a danger.
I scoff. A danger to us.
True. I look out and I ask Maribel, do you know where Dark Albert is? I believe he has some money of yours, correct?
He has all the money.
We should find him. If he's not going to fight, he should at least pay
Oh,
for the
Sarah!
travel.
Wait, you don't have money, Maribel?
I have some money. I have the money that I started with, but ever since we gathered any loot, you have held it all.
Does my character always hold all the money?
Yeah.
Damn, he's good.
And also, you owe me 1 gold per day from the time that Bruno made me the promise to pay me a gold per day to not kill Donalda.
Well, we'll talk about that once you talk about
You-
the character.
Because you got all of Bruno's money, which should be split up against us, or between us anyway.
Maybe Bruno didn't have enough money to pay you, though.
Well, in that case, I should get all of it. Whatever's left.
I think Dalk Albert is gonna have to look into his finances before getting back to the ship.
He doesn't know that we're looking for the money, though.
No, but I was currently, I was straight up making a list of all the things Albert wants to sell right now while he's in the village.
Well, let's do that quickly. What do you want to sell?
Oh, I think we should, wrap it up in the break.
Okay.
In the next break, because it won't be very interesting. It's all small details from past adventures that I collected.
Sure. So everyone can reconvene on the ship eventually. How
Wait,
many?
I want to try to buy a slave.
Do you want to buy a slave?
Yeah.
All right.
Make sure you have money for our travels.
How much are you willing to pay for a slave?
I'm pretty sure I have enough money because I have all of Bruno's money plus all of my money, and I'm really greedy.
So, are you willing to? How much are you willing to pay?
Well, I would try to have it the lowest possible.
Of
for
course,
sure.
of course. But I need to
But
know what your
like-
upper limit is.
I guess 100 gold.
Okay.
He's gonna be an expensive one.
Both remaining slaves are males. And you can get the first one for 80 gold.
I will get the slave.
Okay.
I bought a slave.
Yes, you did.
It's so sick.
His name is Ryan.
Oh my god, I love him already.
Write down these stats.
Ryan.
My
personal assistant.
He is 6'3", 230 pounds.
He's beefy.
Yep. He is 26 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not bad.
And human male.
Is he hot?
Is he hot?
Yeah, hotness.
Of course.
It's tradition.
Yes, he is an attractive man by human standards.
Wow, so Maribel has a hot human and a hot minotaur coming to the boat tonight.
So
What's she gonna do?
How attractive is he, Neil? Like,
On a scale of 3 to 18, with an average of 10.5 and a standard deviation of 3, he is 15 hotness.
Whoa. All right then, Ryan.
Ryan.
What's up, Rai?
All right. So I will go get Ryan. And maybe Albert can turn this way. I don't know.
All right. So
No, that's too. I won't go there.
why don't we take a break? Jen and I will deal with selling all of her stuff in the break, and we'll see how this dinner goes when Maribel realizes that she's got a skeleton on board her ship.
Dinner party.
Dinner party. See you guys in a few minutes. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.